What up, guys? We back again, and today we are talking about the pure and simple fact that you cannot outdo who you are being. And this is a kind of, this is something that you may have heard something like this before, or it may remind you of simply self-concept when it comes to Neville's teachings, Maxwell Maltz, the self-image, the power of all that. And the fact of the matter is that whatever you conceive yourself to be is going to be on a very foundational level. You might be able to do the right actions. You might be able to take the right technical things. You might do and go through the motions that somebody else might be doing. But if you don't see yourself as that person that can sustain that result, the results you're going to get are going to be short-lived. And, obviously the most common examples of this that you can think about are in relationships and in business. It also goes for health. It also goes for fitness. If you see yourself as a 200-pound person, well, you're not going to be able to maintain that 150-pound weight. If you see yourself as an employee who makes minimum wage or who makes $20, $25 an hour, you're not going to be able to become that entrepreneur or that person that's making $10,000 a month. If you see yourself as somebody who is you have that anxious attachment when it comes to relationships, you're always concerned about, I hope they like me. You have those abandonment issues. Well, sooner or later, it's going to some events are going to transpire. Either it shows up in your behavior or somehow the universe in whatever mysterious way is going to fulfill that. It is going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why it's so important to get a handle on your belief systems. That's why I have this product down below in the description. You can download it and do the work. It's about doing the work. Even Neville Goddard himself says you need to discipline the mind. And disciplining the mind comes in with first being aware of the thoughts you're thinking day and night, because they're repeated. Most of the thoughts that we're thinking there's studies that have shown that we think we have 40,000 thoughts every single day, and they're almost all the same as the previous day. So we're caught in these cycles of storytelling, generally speaking, a negative narrative about ourselves, about our life, about us in relation to our life and the world around us. And that's what continues the cycle. And as Einstein said, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. So getting square on where your beliefs are, doing the exercises in the book that I have down below is going to be very valuable for you to gain awareness of what these stories and these thoughts are and these beliefs that are just hanging around, and doing that. And then the other flip side of that is then taking the action. And again, that's going to be contingent on you surrounding you, because we don't rise to our desires, we fall to our standards. So what is it that you have? Do you make it easy for yourself to have good habits, or is it hard? If it's an uphill battle every single day, you're not going to do it. So, in the book Atomic Habits, that's a great book to learn about this from as well. But it's a simple psychology, Just because you might learn about some spirituality, you might learn about Neville Goddard and all these other things, doesn't mean that psychology and all these other things just don't matter anymore. They absolutely matter. And you need to take a holistic approach and use everything that you've learned to your advantage in life. That's the way that we do things. That's the way that we get results in life. That's the way that we stay firmly planted with our feet on the ground, but our head looking towards the sky, bringing in those beautiful visions of ours into reality. So, the process of being is the process of becoming. And again, that is, who are you? Who are you? When you have a self-definition, a self-concept of somebody that is really, really good, that is well-liked, well-loved, that everybody loves, when you go somewhere, you're going to have that stable self-confidence. And again, we're not talking about that that superiority complex, because we've all seen what that looks like. That is just this false facade. It is weakness masquerading as strength. And somebody that is highly emotional all the time, somebody that is very reactive all the time, this goes hand in hand with stoicism. This is why I talk about learn so much. There's so much that you can learn out here. Ryan Holiday has that book, The Obstacle is the Way, and there's so much good life advice that comes from the philosophy of stoicism. And if you're looking at, Neville Goddard or manifestation principles, but you temper it with a bit of stoicism, you temper it with a bit of psychology, you're going to have a very, very firm, balanced, grounded approach to this stuff, and you're going to get better results. Somebody that is, it's all good to be in tune with your emotions, but there's a big difference between knowing, or between feeling, allowing the emotions to exist, allowing them to pass through us, having a healthy relationship with our emotions that is also tempered with logic, rational thinking, and looking at the facts of the matter, versus being completely led and at the mercy of your emotional thinking. Because when you do this, do you ever notice that people around you that get really reactive, they have these big blow-ups and upsets? Does that look like that person is strong? Do they look like they're coming from a place of strength to you? They don't to me. In fact, when I see men act like this, it is such a turnoff for me as a man. If I have a roommate who's exploding or getting so excited or so just emotionally in any direction, whether it's super excited, and I've said this before, I always use this example of that pendulum of the emotions, right? Whether it's super high emotions or super low emotions, you're going to keep flopping back and forth. This is why we talk about manifesting. The best way to manifest is to treat it like it's ordinary. It's normal. You normalize it in your life. You feel it natural. When it feels natural, you get that amazing partner. You're not going to be, giddy with excitement, super wide-eyed, and, looking like a little kid dancing around that like it's your birthday or something. Not only does it look off, but what happens is that the way that the universe works, the way that the universal principles work with polarity and rhythm, means that those high highs are going to inevitably be followed by those low lows. And it's crucial that we understand this. It's so crucial, because that's when we tap into that real power. When we have that calm, centered knowing, that's what the masters do. And that's when you see people that are masterful in whatever facet of life, it could be their jobs, their careers, the way they interact with their children. They're amazing, amazing parents. Their child goes off and does something absolutely stupid. They're still like this. They still love them. They still want the best for them. They don't go on these emotional, huge upsets and tirades against them. And they don't go and celebrate, and they're not some helicopter parents that are just coddling and saying, you're the best, honey, blah, 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 blah. And what we come to find when we do research on psychology of parents and parenting is that in either case, whether it's neglect or it's kind of abuse in that negative way, or it's that over hyping the kid up, over encouragement, over the mothers that are just so coddling of their sons, it stunts the personality. It skews the personality. People grow up to be narcissistic. They grow up with that weird type of solipsistic view of life. And again, it's stemming from these extremes on this pole. So the more that we come into this understanding that by being a bit stoic, by being in control of our emotions, by allowing our emotions to flow through us, understand them, and use them in conjunction with our rational thinking, with our thought, with our logic, and looking at things as they are, not getting diluted into these fantasies, because that's what happens when we get into our emotional thinking. We operate in a fantasy land. We are now deluded, walking around in a world of delusion because we've allowed these emotions to guide our actions. And when we get into these negative emotions, or the high emotions, we make stupid decisions. And that's why all of this stuff goes hand in hand. You can't be good at business. You can't be an amazing father or an amazing mother when you're constantly flying off the handle, flip-flopping around, and being led by your emotions. That emotional thinking is childish. It's immature. And it's not going to get you a result that is something of worthy, something that is admirable. When you see those amazing mothers that are the mothers of their children, but they're not coddling them too much, they're also not being too aggressive, too mean to them. They genuinely want the best for their children. but they're also willing to let them fly on their own. They're willing to let the bird leave the nest, so to speak, to let them figure out how to fish. You give that person a fish and they're good for the day. You teach them how to fish and they're good for life. And that's what you want from the people around you. You want people to teach you how to fish. You want people, whether it's your parents, whether it's your peers, whether it is your friends. You know, we don't have control over who our parents are, but you want your friends to be people that have standards. They have standards in their life and they want you to rise. They want you to better yourself. And, you know, love isn't always sweet. It isn't always just saying yes to every single thing. That's not true love. True love is tough sometimes. True love is having the tough conversations. True love is being dedicated to that relationship or that friendship or whatever it is, and seeing that, look, I want to continue my friendship with this person. I'm not going to let this one dispute or this one argument or this one point of disagreement just throw it off the railroad. And now in this day that we are in of instant gratification and instant swiping on everything and instant deliveries, getting packages at our door, we think everything should have been done yesterday. People are just willing to forego friendships, relationships, whatever. And that's not really, you're ignoring reality. You're ignoring reality by doing that. You want to be the type of person that does what you can to find that resolution, find that sense of harmony within yourself, sense of harmony with people around you, feel uncomfortable, have those uncomfortable conversations, get to a place where, you know, and if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, but those people, those situations will fall out of your life. But you want to be the person that is able to be honest with yourself and tell yourself and the people around you, be honest with them as well, and figure out what's going on in a situation. Where did the situation go astray? With your friend, you guys are having a dispute, an argument. Well, look, like, you know, I value our friendship. I don't want this to just be in the way. I think that it's important for us to talk about this. You see your friend getting all emotional and reactive, then you be the bigger person and step in and say, hey, look, you know, I can tell something's up, like what's going on? Because, you know, I can tell that you've been bothered. I can tell that, you know, something is different. Obviously, you know, we had that conversation or whatever, but let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. By being this way, you will be in the process of becoming that version of yourself that is able to find the resolutions to situations. And again, you know, Maxwell Maltz, what he talks about in psycho-cybernetics, failure is often the greatest catalyst for growth. So you have these conversations and you might fail. You might fall on your face. You might end up looking dumb. The people that are willing to end up looking dumb are the people that are going to win in the end. Every successful businessman, every successful entrepreneur, businesswoman, anybody, they all fail. They fail more times than anybody else. That's because they were willing to go through those failures and achieve success by virtue of failure after failure after failure, without losing hope, without losing enthusiasm for their goal, because they know they're being that person. They're not like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this technique. I'm going to make my business card. I'm going to establish an LLC. That's they're doing all this stuff. The people that are caught up, it's like they want to put paint on the house, but they haven't laid the foundation yet. That's what a lot of people nowadays want to do in business. They want to put the nice little trinkets and the little decor on the house, but there's cracks in the foundation. In business, you have to figure out how to make money. You need to bring in an income source, a revenue stream, a cash flow. In relationships, you need to have respect, mutual respect. You need to have be on the same page with somebody. You need to have a sense of harmony with that person. If you're always constantly seeking to gain without giving, you're going to be the one that loses in the end. The universe operates on the law of reciprocity, you know, the golden rule, treat others as you want to be treated. And that solipsistic point of view, you're going to end up losing. When it comes to business, people can sense it. You know, you might make some money here and there, but you're not going to have repeat customers. It's the same thing in friendships and in relationships. Eventually, you're going to be found out. Eventually, people will realize your character, and eventually, your reputation will be eroded. Whether it's in business or it's in your personal life, it's just the way of the world. So, who are you being? Who are you? Get in touch with that story that you're telling yourself. Get in touch with those uncomfortable thoughts, that uncomfortable way that you see yourself, because it's being reflected in your reality all the time. Get out of that victimhood thinking, take your power back, and become, in the process of becoming who that is that you are. You're a one of one. There's nobody else like you. Stop falling into the trap of comparison, saying, oh, well, they have this, they have that. Well, life's not fair. You know, people want things to be fair all the time. Well, you're born the way that you are. You're born with the set of parents that you're born with. You're born in the location that you're born with. And other than that, you're free. You're free to make decisions. If something happened to you 5, 10, 15 years ago, why are you still letting that hold you back? It's all in your mentality. Every moment is fresh. There's freshness in every new moment. And I'm going to do this book review. I had filmed it previously, and I haven't released it yet, on The Courage to Be Disliked. The Courage to Be Disliked reveals all of these things that I'm talking about, and it goes into depth on these topics. And it explains why having that freshness in the moment, being that person, having the courage to be disliked, like I said, that's a true friend. A true friend has the courage to be disliked because they're going to tell you where you're fucking up. They're going to push you to be better. And that's the type of people that you want around in your life. You want to be that person. You want to be that person that has high standards. You want to be that, surrounded yourself with those people that have high standards. And you want to be and exist in that knowing that you are worthy. There's no reason you are not enough to have the things that you want in your life. You were born on this planet. In this time, what an amazing time to be alive. We have access to anything that we want. We live in this age of information, age of the most craziest time to be alive on this planet right now. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and people are sending rockets off into space, looking to inhabit Mars and all this. But you're over here stuck thinking, why can't I get a girlfriend? Or why can't I get a boyfriend? Why can't I get my SP? Why can't I get my money figured out? You can. You can. If they're doing this, let it be inspiration. Get out of that trap of comparison. Get out of that trap of envy and jealousy. That should inspire you more than anything. Elon Musk has autism and he's sending rockets off into space. Your weakness can be your advantage. It all comes down to what you tell yourself. So download that book. Get figuring out on what these stories are that you're telling yourself, where these limiting beliefs are. Get down to the root. You'll be able to do that by going through these processes that I've outlined in this book down there for you guys, to weed out those limiting thoughts, those limiting beliefs that are holding you back from being that version of yourself. It's time to step back into alignment with that version of yourself now. Take your power back. Stop pointing the finger at everything else and go within and figure it out. I promise you, I give you permission right now. Sometimes as people, we've learned all these bad habits. We're seeking permission from this person and that person, our parents and our teachers and our friends. Cut all that out. I'm giving you permission right now. You have permission to lead yourself. At a certain point in time, you have to take the reins. It's up to you to become that person. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And I'm giving you permission right now. Anyways, guys, much love as always. Drop me a like, hit me with a comment, let me know what you thought about this down below. Hit me with a subscribe, download the book, get going on it. Let me know how it works for you in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video.